Most of my life I've felt alone. But not here. I suppose, living next to a cemetery, your neighbours are always close. It is peaceful and quiet, but not lonely. In fact, since my first visit amongst these graves, I've felt a presence. A calmness that fills the air and surrounds me like a gentle morning mist. That's how I know he is there. It's a feeling of being watched from afar. I wait in silence as well, until we meet.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to make sure you get all that out of the way first. I want to make sure that you saw the videos and everything that was going on with Damien's promo too on the products that he does. So today what we're going to be doing, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, I should say. And I'm not late, Glenn. I don't know who else is late, but anyway, atomic clock here. So it's about 4 minutes after. I think I was on time. But in any case, the thing that we're going to do today is I'm going to go through a little bit about the miniature that's available over on the Kickstarter. You'll be able to find the Kickstarter link in the show notes here. Hopefully you guys can see that. And if you haven't joined the campaign, I would love for you guys to invest in it and get us over that funding goal. We're about $2,000 right now as of this morning. And we need to be about $2,500. We need about another $500 before a week from Sunday. So I need to get all that wrapped up, or a week from Saturday. So we'll just say a week from today. So we're trying to get this all funded so that we can make this thing happen. So having said that, I appreciate everybody stopping in. Like I said, good afternoon, Donna. Happy birthday. I don't know if it's your birthday yet, but happy birthday. We're having a good time getting the party ready or whatever you're doing. Glenn, it's good to see you. Let's see what else we got here. I saw Russ stopped in too. Russ Explodes. How you doing, man? Appreciate everybody stopping in. I know we got a few people on Facebook and that. I'm not really seeing. I see the numbers, but I don't see the comments. So just bear with me. I don't have my earbuds in, so I can't hear my own voice. So hopefully you guys can hear me all right. I'm going to switch over to the other camera real quick and show you guys what we're going to be doing here. So I've got, let me just bring this up here. So I've got a few different things. And let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'm pretty sure you can, but just want to make sure. Let me get down here. Thanks, Donna, for liking and sharing. I appreciate it. So what we've got here today is I've got the acrylic paints that we're going to be working with the figure today, the miniature of Jim the Grim. I've got the X-Acto knife. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. I've got 3 different brush tips that I go with as far as what we're doing. Thanks, Glenn. And yeah, I just kind of want to get a feel for, so that you know what we're doing. I mean, it's one thing to see the picture and see how the video is put together by Damien and how he produced these just fantastic pieces. But it's how I finish them. And that's pretty much what you guys are going for. Just like with my artwork, it's the same type of thing. I'm adding my style to this awesome figure. So what I want to do is I want to show you, I'm using just you can get these things literally at any hobby store, at Walmart. I don't know if the dollar stores sell them, but it's a multi-surface acrylic is pretty basic. I'm not going to go with anything that's really super overboard for hobbyists or anything like that. That's not what that's not where I'm going with this. But the acrylics, this resin that Damien, it's a proprietary resin that he puts together. He actually has manufactured this resin that's it's really durable. It's a little bit flexible, which is really great because it's not brittle. That's another good thing when you're investing in miniatures and that, you want to get something that's going to be durable. And that's something that he's really done his work on that. But anyway, the acrylic, this acrylic paint by Simply or by Multi-Surface, whoever, they actually take very, very well to the modeling, to the models. So having said that, and I'm going to go through that in a second a little bit more, how I mix my paints and that. With the resin, this is one of the, this is an unprimed resin piece that we've got here. This one here, it's an awesome shape. But with that, in printing, there's little nubs in that come out that you have to trim off. That's where the X-Acto knife comes into play. A lot of this the one thing about Damien, he does a great job finishing these too. So when they're here, you still have a little bit of upkeep, is what I call upkeep. But it's such a great piece to start with. Let me see if I can do this a little bit better. Let's put this in front of this. Maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. You can see the detail. Just give you an idea of what he did there. Now, what I've done too is I've got, you guys can't see it, it's off camera, but I've got the print that I normally do. Good morning, Sarah, or good afternoon. I've got the print that I used that we sold with the first campaign, and I've got that up, so I'm looking at that so I can get the colors or get the striking lines down and that kind of thing. But as far as the resin goes, Damien just hits it out of the park. He really does a really, really good job on these. And I mean, the cape, everything, or the coat, everything, that even the book, just dynamic. He did a great job. I started one of the figures already, and I'm going to continue on with that one because I want to show you what I'm trying to do here. Let me show you a little bit of where we're at. Now, there's a couple disclaimers. So when I show you this, the white on the head of the figures, actually, it's the first tone that I've done with the figure. So it's not going to be white, complete, like a alabaster white or anything. I'm going to be mixing in different colors in that to blend in that the face and the hair and that. So, but when you're looking at it, I wanted to show you how the stone was actually that's what I want you to see, the weathering. The weathering of the stone was really important to me because that's a really big part of the first part of the print. I'm trying to bring in a weatherization on that, and I think it did pretty well. I think I'm pretty happy with the end result of that. But it gives you an idea of the texture of what I'm trying to do with Jim and that. We're going to work on this stone today. I've got a few things I'm going to be doing with this one, and adding some detail to this a little bit more. The washing that I do on it, I don't know if you guys can see that very, very well, but I'm trying to bring in a few things, and I think it's a success. The face in that, like I said, I put this down as almost as a primer, a dual primer. So when I'm looking at that, hey, Paul, how you doing, man? And Willow, how are you? Hopefully it's not too cold up in Canada right now. It's a nice day here in Michigan, beautiful, sunny. But in any case, the thing on the face, I'm working with kind of light and shade and a little bit in it. With the print, let me bring this print over here. Actually, with the print, you guys can see the effect of what I'm trying to do here. I think a little bit better. I mean, it worked. It's worked out really, really well with the model. I mean, he did such a great job on this. But I'm trying to bring in the effect of what the stone looks like, and then obviously he's going to be. I'm going to taper down that face. He almost looks like he's a Joker, so it's not meant to be that way. But it gives you an idea, just so you guys can get a play of what I'm adding, what I'm not. So, in any case. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Do you think the stone work is good? Do you think that's is interesting? Do you think that's going to be a... Whoops, sorry. Didn't mean to bump that. Do you think that's working? I think it works. I think it's dynamic. I think it's really going to be sharp. One of the things I want to talk about, too, today is the actual display case. It is plastic, and there's a little smudges on there. Sorry, I'm cleaning that with denatured alcohol and that. But the base itself... The base itself will actually be, I'm going to be doing this in a kind of a diorama. It'll be very close. It'll be textured. It'll be painted as well. So you'll have this base. And then Jim will be sitting on that base like such, like that, and then it'll be much like the it'll be ground, it'll be painted, it'll look decent, but it'll be very much in the same scheme of what the print was. So to give you an idea, and then obviously it's encapsulated over, and you'll have it completely safe and secure inside the dome. Really cool way to cool way to show this, and it's going to be such a great piece. The figure is going to be secured to that base so that you know it will be secured. It'll be glued down, and then texturing and paint and everything else will be applied to the bottom, just so that you know. But yeah, I think it's going to be just great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that people are investing in it. I'm glad that I think that really people are going to be really enjoying this. Let me just move this chair over here. Really enjoying this. Hopefully this experience, and I hope it's a collector's market too. I hope people that really get on board with this, because I think it's really going to be cool as a side note to the book. Because I'm not just going to be doing this with this book. I'm going to be doing it with other things that I'm going to be doing. So thanks, Sarah. I appreciate that. Yeah. So hopefully we're going to get to the point here where I think it's going to be enjoyable for you guys to see what I'm doing here. I'm going to try to keep on camera while I'm painting, but okay. So in the mixtures, of black and white, because that's what we're going to work with today, and I might do another live, depending on how it goes this week, in the evening, because I'm trying to obviously raise funds to get everything funded by next weekend. But I'd like to do, maybe I'll do the coat this week, and the book as a touch up, as a live feed. Maybe we'll do that this week. But today, what I want to do, because we're only going to be here for about an hour, I wanted to get an idea, show you what we're doing. You're going to also, I'm going to be mixing these off camera. So, but I'll tell you what I'm doing as I'm mixing them. So, and what I usually do, let me just move this for a second. What I usually do is I've got a paint tray. I've got an enamel paint tray that I use. A lot of photographers use these for when they used to produce film. But my father was an artist, and when he passed away, he left me a lot of these, all this material to use, all these tools. So proudly, I use them throughout all my work. So, but yeah, so I mix the paints in this. So what I'll do is let me open these up here. I'm going to be using just a little bit of white and a little bit of black on this because it's such a small figure. I shouldn't say that. It's a great figure, but it's just not it's not like a massive model, which is good. So then what I'll do is I just use just 2 drops, and then what I'll do is I'll use this whole area here to actually mix the different tones that I want. So, and if anybody that's interested, I can go into more detail as that goes. But you'll also know that I've done a lot of dark treatments on the interiors. I didn't do the back of the coat yet, but I wanted to get this on so that when I do a lighter tone brown, and that it'll pop with that color, and then I can take it down and antique it a little bit to make it look weathered, to make it look like it's 150 years old, if not older. So you get an idea what I'm trying to do here. So just if you're wondering, that's the process. I painted years and years and years ago, and I'm really looking forward to doing all these. I know it's so daunting. You're going to have so many to do. Oh, wow. Poor me. I mean, I think it's great. I think that everybody should be excited about it, because these are limited edition, and they're going to be fun, and they're going to be a good collector's piece when everything goes, when the adaption's incomplete, all completely ready. And we've got a thing that's going to be an episode on the TV, which is going to be awesome. So it's going to be, I think it's just a win-win for everybody. And the fact that you guys are on the ground floor of all this is just, I think it's awesome. So thank you guys again. I appreciate it. All right, let's get to painting. So what I'm going to do is I've got a couple pieces here. What I'm going to do is I'm mixing some gray tones right now. And I've got just a little bit on the brush. I actually use some of this. I'll end up tapering it down with a little bit of water because it is acrylic. And you want to, on the brush, not to get it to the point where it's saturated to the point where you're going to miss out on the details of the figure, but you want it so that it's got just enough to be dangerous, is what I like to say, right? I think while we're doing this, why don't we keep this down here? That way people can see what's going on. I was going to use the green. Usually I've got a green knife board is what I call it. It's the one, it's the one you'll see underneath some of my watch shows and that, but it's basically what I cut on and everything else. But I didn't want to have that on there today. I thought it'd be nice to have the wood in the background, but it's hard to see sometimes on the figure. So, but what I'm going to do is, because I'm working on the face here, I'm just going to use this. I'm not going to worry about the face. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I'm going to use just a light blending tone on this. Hopefully it'll dry fast too. Let me move this over here a little bit more. Hold on a second. My old eyes. Let's get a little bit whiter. A little bit more white there. I know I sound like Bob Ross, I know, but maybe that's why he talks so much. I don't know. And it's all right if you get some of it on the boot, because I'm going to be painting that boot afterward. And all I'm trying to do is just get a base coat down. I'm trying to make it look weathered. There's a little bit of upkeep when you get products that are made with resin. You got to break down, like I said, you got to use the knife. You got to break down a lot of the nubs that are on it. Kind of like if you've ever built a model. It's trying to, you're going to have excess. So when we're doing models like this, there's a certain amount of cleanup and detail work you got to do before you even throw any color on there, which is all right. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's just part of the nature of the beast, and it's no fault of Damien's, because he's providing a service, which he also paints these as well. His wife does. So mine, it's a little different. I order them per what I spec out, and then I'll take care of the rest of it, unless it's a mass produced unit, and then that's a little different. But some of this, though, what I try to do is I water it down, and then we'll just kind of glaze over it, and then we'll add color. And I have to kind of see how this is going to be drying too, because I don't know how it's going to work with us all being here. I just want to make sure that I'm upfront about it. It doesn't dry sometimes overnight. Some of the stuff, when it's not primed thoroughly, or if it has a different primer than the acrylic, sometimes it takes longer. And humidity in the air, there's a lot of things that happen. This is slightly primed. I don't have a whole lot of primer on this, and I did that because I didn't want to lose a lot of detail in the material, in the miniature. One of the things about it, it's a very fine detailed piece, and I want to show that the detail that ultimately what Damien sculpted. This isn't just taking a drawing that I had and putting it together. Damien actually took time and sculpted this whole thing. So when you're looking at it from a standpoint of that, it's really two artists that have worked on this. He's brought it to life, which is fantastic. And again, you don't have to be really crazy detailed about this. I'm just trying to bring in some whites and some mixture just to get an idea of treatment on here. Some people end up using some darks in the corners. First off, I'm not into that. Usually what I'll do is I'll wait and I'll do a wash with a black mixture with acrylic. And what that does is it brings out all the nooks and crannies, much like I did with this part of it. And it really, these are one-offs. This is this is fun for me, because I think that there's a lot of people that don't really, it's just a miniature. It's just it's just an add-on to the campaign. Yeah, it is an add-on to the campaign, but it's a piece of art. So I really want people to think of it, and I think you guys do for the most part. Sorry, I had to get some coffee. Awakened Dragon, of course, Indian River. There's going to be a change also, since we're talking about it now. Indian River Roasting Company is actually changing to Northern Grounds. There's a slight change into to the marketing strategy, but Northern Grounds has been the company, I think, the structure name for a long time, and you'll be seeing that on a lot of my sponsorships on my shows will be changing too. It is Joe Dog. Yeah, it is. Thanks, Sarah, for the compliment. Yeah, Joe. So Damien did all of the printing on the material, all of it. So in fact, he does. I've got exclusive. We're doing exclusive contract of he's going to be handling all of my Ted Davies artistry properties when it goes to miniatures. Let me show you one of the things that he did. This is actually, and I think you guys saw this while this is drying. I'm going to talk to you about this. This is actually the Archimedes packaging and everything that he did. If I could bring this over. This is Archimedes from my story Retrieve. And this is actually, it's a non-movable piece, but that's Archimedes. It's incredible. He did such a great job marketing-wise on this. And I'll go back to the painting of Grimm in a second here. So I took this one, this particular unit. This one's sold as well. I had 5 pieces made for us when we went to California, and I sold a couple of them to. Well, I sold one of them to a private collector. Actually, 2 of them to a private collector. This one is actually going out as well. But Archimedes is the main character, one of the main characters in Retrieve, and the story revolves a lot around him. And what I wanted to do is marketing-wise, I wanted to have something that I could present to potential producers, potential executives of the idea of what I wanted to do marketing-wise with the story. But this isn't an action figure. This is a proposal figure, is what it means, and it's a prop, so to speak. So in that, I had to hand paint everything. There was a couple nubs, and then I had to sand off, prep the figure itself. But the quality of work that he does, Damien does, is just fantastic for the investment. He does such a great job. So, but yeah, I had to paint that as well. And that's, these are, like I said, collector's pieces. And, the marketing side of it with the branding and the way that everything works well, and the back side of this, all the information of what I've done or what I'm doing with other books, and his just dynamic, just such a great way to showcase that piece. Really, really proud of that and everything that Damien's done. So, and that's what adds to this. So let's see how this is drying. So yeah. So, and again, I'm going to have to probably add a couple different coats. This one here, I'm using a really small brush here too, which doesn't probably help, but we'll get that. Let me see if I got some white here. So I don't know if you guys are into miniatures or into painting like this, but it takes a lot of dexterity. There's something to be said. My eyes are different and I'm doing this on camera too. It's about 4 or 5 feet from me, so bear with me. When you do miniatures, it's your signature's on it. It's not like paint by number. I mean, sometimes people get, oh yeah, well, you can just buy any miniature and they all look the same. No, I disagree. There's layering, there's fatigue, if you want to call it that, or weathering that you can do with these units, and it becomes your own. So just because you got you say you buy something like a model or whatever, you can make it your own. I mean, there's no real reason that people think it has to be somebody else's model. That's somebody else's work. Well, maybe, but you can put your spin on it. Anyway, but I digress. But there's a lot here that I build up in a lot of the layers too. One of the things too is I have to find out how this looks once it's painted. And these are the beginnings. These are not actually these aren't the finished product quite yet. So I've got quite a bit of work, and these aren't going to be going out till February anyway, because I want to make sure everything's dried. Obviously, it won't take that long, but I want to make sure everything's dried and sprayed. And then in case, in the cases, in the domes, and everything, and all the scenery is done properly. The diorama is done properly, so the floor of the scenery is good on the cemetery floor, and it looks like it's been, it looks like a moment in time, if you want to call it that, a moment that Jim, just like in the story, he's kind of frozen in time. So, and I'm looking forward to you guys getting to enjoy this, because I think it's gonna be awesome. One of the things I do too is I'll add water to take this down. I'm trying to add as much weathering as I can before the onslaught of other colors. It's coming pretty good though. I think it's pretty solid on that. And it's hard to see here too. If I shut this off, I've got it on fluorescent here. And then if I take it down to the incandescent, you can see the warmer colors that come out. But since we're on camera here, I have to, and I'm trying to read, but yeah. I think he has, Sarah. I think you're right. Cool, Joe Dog. We'll see you. But yeah, that's just a lot of. I'm just glad that people are accepting it. I mean, it's great to see people that are actually enjoying the idea of purchasing a piece of art like this for the story. A lot of people don't have. They've never been around this type of thing. Other people are big gamers and they've had miniatures and they painted them for years and all that. But yeah, I'm really geeked about it. I think that's. I'm going to add some tone here. You guys can see that all right. And again, it's going to look really bold on here, so just bear with me. A lot of the what I've noticed over the years in a lot of these cemeteries is the cracking in that goes on between these, on all these different sections. So like in it, what I'll do is wipe a little bit of this off, give it some texture here. The weathering in the cracks, and just how ancient this thing is, But that's, this is the fun part for me. I mean, it looks really dark on here, guys. It's not that dark. It doesn't. It's not that dark in this. I'll add a little bit of white there too. But as far as the product itself, I've been very, very happy with what Damien's done. Just incredible. It's incredible the time that we live in right now, right? It's just amazing to see what can be designed, and then it's in-house. I mean, it's fantastic. Really, it's exciting. Usually on the top, though, I'll add, like I did here, I'll add a little bit of darker because, well, obvious reasons, because things wear down and they get old. And then, of course, after it dries, we're going to have to kind of reevaluate and see where we're at with everything too here. Once it dries, I'll be able to manage. I'll be able to see it a little bit better how I want to mix things. But yeah, I'm really happy with the figure itself. Let me get some more water here. And what I'm doing is I'll take a little bit of bigger brush here. It's a little bit more of a brush, and I'll just stipple it here and there, bring it down, drag down some of that material to where maybe it's been raining over the course of the last couple hundred years. One of the cemeteries in Detroit, which used to be a real wealthy cemetery. You guys know Carhartt and all the rest of these. Hey, Lewis, how you doing? Carhartt is one of the big companies. Obviously, we all, as builders and developers, and that we always, builders in general, Carhartts are really, really a mainstay. Carhartt is buried. The founder of the company is buried in this one cemetery in Detroit, and it's on the south side. South side. It's southern, I guess, Detroit, down by Mexican Village and all that. And when you go down there, the area is down what they call by Zug Island, and Zug Island's kind of it's not a very. There's a lot of factories. I think the foundry for Ford is there, but back in the day, it was like the thing to be buried there. Back in the 20s, 30s, whatever, that was like a major thing. And they had all these wealthy people buried there. Carhartt's one of them, and the gravestones, everything around it is covered in this like chemical soot. it always struck me when we went there how dirty everything was. And that area, I think per capita has more cancer. I think I shouldn't say that because I don't know for sure, but it's got a huge amount of. I know that there's a lot of not very well people down there that live in the area, but you can see this film of this grit and this grime on every stone that's in the place. But yeah, that's that was something that when we went over there, I'm like, wow, it's really quite interesting that people, the people that were first trying to make it so that they had a little bit more of elite, um, uh, whatever graveyard, cemetery. And here it is, the dirtiest one in the city. It's a nice cemetery, but it's not. I just think it's not a very healthy visiting place. But yeah, okay. So that stone looks pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. I'll take that up a little bit. Brand of what? Lewis. Yeah, I've got computer. Well, I'm using the computer right now, Glenn, obviously, so you guys can see this, and my phone is a second camera. But yeah, it's crazy. It's nice going back to the basics again. I mean, brushing. I don't know, pens and pencils, man. It's still the way I always think. So, oh, brand of paint. Yeah, I did. I didn't go with any model paints. I wanted to show people that you can go because the way I was telling them, the way that the resins work with Damien, especially, he ended up, he has a proprietary resin that he uses. It has a little bit of flex to it, which is quite nice, but it's sturdy. It doesn't mean it won't break, but it's easy to fix if anything does break. But it also takes acrylic super, super well. And these are just literally, I bought these at Walmart. Simplify is an acrylic that's used all across the board, and then multi-surface. These are something you can get them in if you have a Ben Franklin or anything. These are available every craft store known to man, I think. I don't know Joann's or Hobby Lobby sells them. I'm pretty sure Hobby Lobby does. But Simply or multi-surface are great. I also picked up these. These ones I'm going to get into when I'm working with the other browns in that. This company here, Daler Rowney, they're around. They're all over the place, and these can be picked up online very cost effectively. And again, you can use miniature paints too. Vallejo is a huge brand. They're amazing. They've got some great metallic colors in that. And when I'm going to go for that type of special look, I'll usually use a little bit better enamels and that kind of thing. But for this type of application with the acrylic, because it handles it so well, I really wanted to showcase it. You can, and when you do different figures and that, experiment, get something to where you feel comfortable with. This is supposed to be something to where it's not an expensive hobby. It shouldn't be anyway. With this one here on the Archimedes, I actually used acrylic, the same acrylic, the multi-surface acrylic on his, all the black trim in that. I used spray paint enamel, Krylon satin finish for the body. I sprayed everything down after I primed it and sanded everything. And then what I did at the end was I clear coated the whole thing with a slight satin matte finish, and it was just awesome. And it turned out beautifully. But like I said, I don't want to get too far into this, but yeah, right, exactly, Glenn. And I think that you've got to be smart about this. If you're going to get into a hobby, I don't think you need to blow a ton of money on a lot of things. I'm doing this because I want people to be able to duplicate techniques. You might not be able to paint the same way that I do. Okay, I get that. But I've also got, 50 years in it. So it's a little different. I haven't been painting since I was 1, but, 45 years, probably painting since I was 5 or 6, not in, lead paints, of course, right? Like we all did back in the 70s. I know that explains a lot. But yeah, Dale around here are very good quality for the money. And I think, I want to say I picked up, these are really affordable. And I think that they were at online, they were only like $10 for 12. Fantastic buy. And you get what you want. Don't, if you want to end up getting into some miniatures and going into maybe gaming and that kind of thing, then do it. But get into something that's affordable for you. Don't feel like you got to get something they're astronomical and people, because like anything, things can get taken. They can get taken advantage of with people wanting you to buy their stuff and all that. And I get that, but get what you're comfortable with. A lot of the times too, I'll put some classical music on. If I'm writing, I have to have classical music on, as you guys know. But as I'm like now, I would not worried about copyright. I would put some music on, but right now it's kind of nice just adding a few pieces here and just being quiet for a few minutes. I'm sure you guys would enjoy that too. One of the things about the hands, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. The hands I'm weathering because these are whoops, as I bring it back here, these are old gloves, and I'm trying to bring in a feel for that. He's, they've been exposed to the weather, even though he's not really a being that's solid. They still have a weathered, old aged look. You can see with his face, though, you're starting to see the progression of what his. If you can see that, I don't know. Sorry, guys. I know it's kind of blown out. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, it's still kind of blown out. Sorry about that. But with it, I wanted you guys to at least see, once I add some grays here, what happens with his face. So, I'm just reading, guys. Bear with me. No, thanks. I appreciate that, Glenn. Ditto, bro. Ditto. But like I said, these are very cost effective, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to show on this particular, not to pull one over on you. Hey, you buy my figure on my Kickstarter, I'm going to use cheap paint on it. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that these are things that people use across the board, and it's something to where people, you can have some amazing results with not so expensive paints. And this is a great time to live right now because you've got the opportunity that you can spend a lot of money or save a lot of money. It depends on what you want to do. So and this is a layer thing. With this, with Jim, I'm experimenting a bit because his gray tones in his face, I don't want him to look zombie-ish, and that was something I was a little concerned about. And I don't want him to look like he's made out of stone, because that's not what I'm trying to do either. And bear with me because I'm using my bifocals to their utmost use. So bear with me, guys. And if it gets too gray, I'm going to end up bringing back a little bit more white and I'm trying to bring in some tones here. So you'll see what I'm trying to do in a minute. Don't sweat it if you see, oh God, what's he doing? You'll see it in a few. I'm trying to bring in the tonal aspect of it so that when I don't want to have it so down that we can't see Jim for who he is. That was one concern I had, is that it's not going to show up his face the way I wanted it to, because the paint's not reacting the best way it should with the resin. But it's doing okay. It's doing okay. Yeah, it can take a lot. It takes a lot because there's a lot, and it's, this is part of the enjoyment for me. A lot of people don't like taking their time with things sometimes, and it's hard for me sometimes because I don't have the time. Everything that I want to do, I don't have the time to do it because I'm broadcasting or whatever, And we're looking at it now. You know, I'm looking at next year. It's going to get even busier, which is okay. But I can slow down a bit when I'm doing these kind of things. I'm going to have to let that dry, because that's one thing too. When you're looking at this, it muddies up if you're not careful. Jeez. Did everything freeze up, guys? I'm sorry if you guys can't see me or hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me or not. If it's frozen up, I'll pop off and come back on, I guess. But sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. I don't know. That happened to me once before, too. I don't know if it's StreamYard or not, so just bear with me. Sorry about that. Okay, let me get back to what I was talking about. I don't know how long that was that I was working on that was faltering, but we will get back to it. Okay, can you guys hear me okay now? Everything's all right there? Just let me know. I think we've got it down. But anyway, so what I was saying was the color tones on the face, it's going to look very ragged, very but I didn't want it to look zombie-ish. That's not the goal. The goal was to make it so that Jim has got some depth to him. I wanted to make sure his face looks great. Yeah, right. It was the Area 51 guys. Yeah, right. Well, I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm gonna look at the laptop. Let me see if there's an upgrade or something I have to upgrade. Something's going on, but it only happens every once in a while. But just bear with me. What I want to do too is I want to build up. I'm gonna end up taking when I do this, the blue. The blue is going to be on the top of this character, and then I'm going to take it down lighter to a darker, almost a gray on the bottom, kind of like he's translucent-ish. The inside here is going to be more brown, and I might end up, let's see, well, it's about 145 now. So, hey, Damien, what's up, man? Well, we just had some issues with some of the StreamYard anyway. It just popped off, so I hope I didn't lose everybody, but hopefully you guys are still there. So, yeah, Damien, I was telling everybody about the resin and how it's proprietary, that you work with a lot of the things to get it to where it's a really durable resin. And the colors are, it's not really doing it justice here. I'm trying to bring in the stone on the bottom now is drying right now. So I'm adding a lot of weatherization there. So it's going to look kind of crappy right now, but the gloves I've been talking about too. I've been trying to bring in weatherization on the gloves as well. Start out with the black. I'm using just a multi-surface standard, nothing too expensive, with an acrylic, simply acrylic white. And I'm just blending the two colors in a tray, and I'm just going through the basic aspects of Grimm's, of Jim's face. I'm trying to get the nuances to what he's got. I didn't want it to look like he was a zombie, so it's going to have to dry. There's a couple different ways I have to bring that out. The hair it's going to be pretty close to that. It might be a little bit gray here and there, but as far as the darkness of his face, I'm going to be bringing in some whites a little bit more, but I'm going to do it maybe in a gray format. So it'll be a little bit, and that's one thing about this product. Each one of them is unique. And that's, that is a great thing, because as you are investing in this figure, it's one of the it looks, it's going to be one of your own when you proudly put it on your mantle or whatever. So none of this looks crappy. All this is awesome. Oh, good. I'm glad. So I'm real happy with the way that the weatherization worked out on the stone. I think it looks brilliant. And like I said, I'm on fluorescent here, and incandescent's a little bit better, a little bit warmer. I was telling everybody also, as far as the inside here, I darkened this out first so that when I add lighter brown tones, it will actually blend in a little bit better. It'll bring in a little bit more nuance. I'm going to wait to do the pants and this right now, this shirt and that, because I want to see how the coat works, because the coat's going to be a varied wash, and I'm going to have to kind of look at that, and I'm going to take more time. We've been on for almost an hour, guys, so I want to make sure I don't want to bore you with all the details, but I wanted to show you, and some of this has to dry, obviously. But it gives you an idea. I am going to do another live this week. I'll figure out another time that I can do it in the evening. Right now, I'm not sure, because I've got I'm going to be on Pop's show on Monday night at 7. I've got another show on. I have another show on Tuesday night, and then we have the Truth Mongers on Wednesday night. And it might not be until Thursday night late, but I'll figure something out. Maybe after Monday's show, maybe I'll do a live show. We shall see. We shall see. So, or maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow night. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes, guys. You tell me what's better for you guys. But there's a lot here. I'm enjoying this, though. I'm glad that you guys are stopping in and seeing what inspires me a bit. And Damien, thank you again, man, for all the efforts here, man. This is just such a great product. I've been really, it takes the acrylic so well, really. So, and I'm very, very pleased with all of it. And then what I'll do is I'll do another wash over this. I don't know if I'm going to do an enamel wash, which is basically enamel paint with a thinner medium. I don't know what they call it. There's a couple different ones you can get, but you can even do it with the natured alcohol, I think. But I'm going to work on that. One of the things on the book, the book itself. Let's try this while we're at it. You guys can't really see this, but there are lines inside the paint, or inside the book here. I don't know if you can see them or not, but what Damien did was he layered this to where it's actually got lines in the book, which is quite remarkable. And we'll have to see that when it dries. But I added a little bit of pigment in there, and then when I'll bring that out with a little bit of white dry brush. What's that, Glenn? I'm sorry, Lewis. Glenn, he's probably got another 15 to 30 minutes. Yeah, I do. So the paint on itself, this is going to take a while to dry, and it's been not really humid here, but once the furnace kicks on and that, it'll end up drying up quite quickly. One of the interesting things is that there's a little bit of wrist exposed right there, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. The wrist is right there, and I've got to figure out a way that I can do it to where I don't mess up the coat. So it's going to be really interesting. So I've got a really fine. This one here is probably the one we're going to use to get right in there and get that finished out when it's ready. And I'm thinking that once I put that splash of weathering on here, and you see Jim in his final looking effect, I think it's going to be really sharp. I think you guys, Damien, you did such a great job on this coat And once the coat is brought out, I think it's going to be really a cool look. Really, really cool look. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to learn on this too. I'm learning. I've done a ton. Whoops, I've done a ton of miniature paints over the years, and a ton of them. And I mean, hundreds. And you always learn something new. Always learn something new with all of it. That's true. I could. Laura does. She does use that a toothpick. That's an idea. I could possibly do that. Um, I'm going to end up putting a little bit more detail on this too. There's a little bit more. Again, it's kind of washed out on this. I'm sure it doesn't really look what I would like you guys to see this, but as far as the tones in that, it's hard with fluorescent light. But once it's done, set that there just for a second. You can see that it's obviously it's going to fit nicely into that case. And like I said, the scenery is going to be built up on the bottom. I'm really going to be taking my time with that. There's some really cool things I want to do with that, but it's going to be all tonal to what the print did. You know, what we're trying to do with the print. You'll see that the grass is on the bottom, that kind of stuff. I'm going to do my best to mimic something, but it's going to be more scenic than that. But yeah, and then you'll see the tonal of the coat too, where it goes blue down to a slight gray, giving it that effect. We'll see how that works. We'll see how the tonal effect works. If it doesn't look right, if it doesn't blend right, then because of the acrylics, just the way the resins and everything work, we'll see how it works. But I think we'll probably end up having a pretty good run of that. I think it'll look great. Oh God, Damien can do. Oh, what's that? Is that for me, Lewis, or is that for Damien? Oh, how many figures will I do? Sorry, I misread it. I'm gonna probably do with Retrieve in that. I've got a few things that Damien and I are talking about right now. But as far as Jim goes, I think that we're gonna do something else on the next campaign, but I don't know if I've sold on one of the figure ideas I had yet. The other thing was there might be another. I know that there's going to be additional Archimedes for Retrieve. A ton of them. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be happening marketing wise with the Retrieve IP as far as what we're going to be doing, and it's going to be really exciting. Next year is going to be Damien's going to be really busy producing some stuff. But I'm going to be also looking at doing. We're doing an articulated version of Archimedes, which is a big deal. And if I can let the cat out of the bag on that one, Damien. And then we're also going to be doing some fixed figure placements for Archimedes in different action poses and different fun things that Archimedes will be for collectors, all limited edition, everything. I'm trying to determine the time it takes for you to get these done so you can give folks a turnaround time. Oh, well, the turnaround time will be in February, period. I've got on the campaign, everything's set up. These will be going out with the books. It might be in a separate package, but it'll be the same thing. And the test print of Archimedes, I don't have it all together. I've got it in parts. But yeah, you know what? I'll do that. Give me a second. We'll do that when we close out the show here. But yeah, so the fulfillment time on all this stuff will be February. I've got to be a realist on it. I know that there's going to be at least 10 of these sold, and they might not be on the campaign. I have other people that some people don't go on Kickstarter. So that's unfortunate when I'm trying to raise the fund line for the $500 coming up here soon. But having said that, having fans is having fans, so I'll take it. So in that, but I will have them, if they're part of the campaign, they'll have them out in February. Absolutely. Just like I stated with the books, fulfillment's really important to me. I want to make sure that we're definitely have done that. So give me 1 second because of what my man Damien just said. I'm going to try to get this put together real quick. I don't have it glued. I've just got it in parts here, so just bear with me. I did clean it, and I got all the one of the things about this character Archimedes, and we're still talking about Jim too on the paint, but the Archimedes that is articulated, this is just the test run. One thing about Damien, he's really good about getting things brought to life. Here's the test run of the Archimedes. So this is the new one. This is the it's not glued together yet. It's got it moves. It's got his arms move. His legs his legs don't move, but the waist moves. But you can see the difference in size of the original pitch Archimedes that we use for the pitch in California to what it is now. So very excited about that. I think that this is going to be just a great collector's piece. And there's some add-ons too that we're going to have with this one. This isn't offered in the campaign, obviously, in my Kickstarter now with Grimm, but gives you an idea of what the quality of work that he does. Just amazing. Just amazing. I mean, we're going to be doing a couple things differently on the treads, but even the treads are amazing. Really cool. Really, really cool. But like I said, it's not all glued together, so I'm not going to show you everything on it, but yeah, it's great. Just great. All right, so we'll put that back. We'll see how Jim's doing. So yeah, we're about an hour. I'll work on getting the rest of that done for the test, and then maybe what we'll do is I'll see how tomorrow goes. Maybe we'll come back live again, see if we can work on a little bit of the coat and see how that works. And yeah, this is, like I said, this is the trial run on getting the color schemes right for the not the mass production, but the production of the rest of the figures. So, and I appreciate you guys stopping in. You guys have any questions, let me know. You can, message me on Facebook and all that fun stuff. Let's see, Glenn, a way around it would be to prepare different stages. That's true. I could do that. And that's, and it might be the way it goes. I think that I've got a little bit of time this week. I can go live. I do have Dan Doherty is going to be on TED Talks, but it's going to be pre-recorded. We're pre-recording that. I think, is that tomorrow? Or yeah, that's Tuesday. That's right. So, yep. So we've got that we're going to be doing on Tuesday. So that'll be a pre-recorded time. So, but I think that there's a lot going on this week. I'd love to see you guys on the campaign. Thank you guys for backing me. I appreciate it as usual. You guys are just amazing. Damien, thank you for all your efforts. Okay, we'll talk to you soon, Lewis. I've got to get going too here. I've got a couple other things I'm going to be doing today, but I'm going to keep working on this maybe. We'll see where it goes and once it dries up, and then we will see where we're at with everything. But I appreciate you guys stopping in. A little bit of work. That was kind of cool. Hold on one sec. Let me get that set up there. Let me get my picture back up here. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad that we had time to sit down and at least go through it. Yeah, and if you haven't been part of the campaign yet and haven't invested, try it out because I think you guys will enjoy it. Check out everything we're doing. You can find it in the links. Actually, in this conversation, you'll be able to find the link to the Kickstarter. We're almost there, almost funded. We're about $500 down. We've got 7 days left, so that would be awesome if you guys would try it out and invest. Get one of the figures. Like I said, they're limited production, and Damien does such a great job on it. And I appreciate you guys stopping in. Thank you. And I haven't seen anything from Facebook, guys. I apologize. I think we're back to that problem again that we had. If you guys are on Facebook, bear with me. I appreciate you guys stopping in. I will look at the comments after we're off air here and try to like and all that. So thanks again, guys. Try to have a great day. I am going to leave you with my new intro to TED Talks. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. It's the first time it's airing right now. So here we go. Thanks again, guys, for everything. And we'll see you at Kickstarter. Thanks.